Their numbers are less than 1,000, but they carry on a tradition that has lasted for millennia. Every year, the Samaritans, known as the oldest and least numerous people in the world, celebrate Pesach, otherwise known as Passover.
This day means a holy sacrifice and the first day of the Passover of the Samaritans. It's a very special day.
In the Samaritan tradition, as with the Jews, Passover is the feast that recalls the escape of the Israelites from Egypt to the Promised Land, from slavery to freedom.
See, all of us were in white.
Why?
In case of the purity and clearness of our soul and our minds in this day. Tomorrow it's a holiday. We wear robes and we go to the synagogue to pray.
The main thing in the Passover sacrifice is to eat it, the whole family together. And then when you eat it, you are supposed, that's what the Bible says, you are supposed to tell the story to your children.
The name of this feast originates from a story narrated in the book of Exodus. Moses announced to the Israelites that to save themselves from divine punishment, they should mark the doorposts of their homes with lamb's blood. God would indeed pass over the doors with this sign and spare those homes. In memory of that event, the Samaritans gather near Nablus, on the slopes of Mount Gerizim, considered the real home of Yahweh worship, where Abraham placed the first altar. Now, just as then, about 50 lambs are sacrificed and then cooked in deep holes. The priests and men of the community then climb the holy mountain on pilgrimage. The Samaritans are the only biblical people who still practice animal sacrifice. After living in different places in the past, nowadays they assemble in just 2 villages, Kiryat Luza on Mount Gerizim and Holon near Jaffa.
They show us in their different methods of bringing sacrifices and whatever, how it looked 2,000 years ago with us. Although there are lots of differences, but still it's something that is very interesting for us.
This is interesting from both a tourist and a religious point of view because it allows us to learn the practices that were also used before Christ and that he himself experienced.
Every year, in fact, numerous tourists and faithful from different religions come to watch the millennial ceremony of the people who have lived in these territories since the 8th century BC.